Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely pleased and honored to sit here with someone that I hope to call a friend forever, Mr. Thaine Morris. Thaine started off his career at ILM as a ballistics expert, so someone that blew things up. And you will be amazed at the things that he's done. So, first of all, I have to give you a little background. Very little. I got I knew I was going to do this. We lost a good friend. So, Mr. Mark Dotson, one of my all-time favorite people in the world. Mark was the voice of Salacious Crumb, as well as various horror. Anyone you can think of, he's probably done. Mark called me up when he knew that we were going to start the event. And he said, you have to get Thaine out there. Hasn't done a show. He's been in the background. This is the man that blew up the Death Star. And literally, really honestly blew up the Death Star. This is the man that worked on Poltergeist. When the house explodes at the end, that was Thaine's special effect. Sucking the house, blowing it up, and then sucking it back into the ground. Amazing special effect. So with that introduction, please welcome Thaine Morris. Please.
Well, after that introduction, you'd think I could set water on fire. I can't. You might think I can defy the laws of physics. I can make you think I can, but I can't. Because you have control of time with a movie camera, you can make a lot of things that are totally impossible appear. I was called into ILM to work on Empire Strikes Back. I was a licensed guy for a guy they had used on the first show. He's a great guy. He's gone too. Seems like when you get old, you spend more time going to funerals than you do anything else. But anyway, Joey Viscoso was well-known, Academy Award winning special effects guy. Anyway, at the end, this was at ILM. ILM is in Northern California, north of San Francisco. If you don't know, a lot of work is done in Los Angeles. I was called in to work on Dragon Slayer and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Phenomenal, right?
We did all sorts of different gags for those movies. All of the fire in Raiders, when the arc top comes off, the Nazis get burned up, the submarine goes into the hull on the beach, which was filmed in San Francisco Bay. The flickery light on a old seaplane, which was parked on dry land and hadn't flown in 400 years. If it's impossible, we make it happen. I do a lot better if you guys would ask me questions, okay?
Does anyone have a question for Thaine? Please, young lady in the back. Ladies first, sir.
What's your background? Like, what did you originally study and how did you get into it?
Studied chemistry in college with a minor in theater. I've done a lot of live action stuff. I was out with a show called Hair. There was one explosion in Hair. The rest of the time I was doing lighting or, electrical work or the prop guy, or I even ran sound on that show for a while. But I met my wife, who is in the back of the room. She's my caretaker. She was a wardrobe mistress on Ice Follies, and I was the head electrician. And there was pyro on that too. And did that. Came back to Oakland. She's from the Bay Area. I'm from Flats of Colorado, and everybody thinks Colorado is all mountains. It's not. There's land out there that you can see 30 miles, no problem at all. And that's where I grew up. And we were wheat and cattle farmers, and I turned 18 and ran. So I was a stage manager for a big theater called the Paramount Theater in Oakland, and ILM knew I was a licensed guy, so they called me. That's how I got started in working steady in the movies. I'd done local work prior to that, but I always figured myself as a stagehand.
How long have you and your wife been married?
40 odd years, almost 50, I think, 47.
I don't think my last wife lasted 40 days. I mean, maybe a weekend.
Yeah, well.
But, yeah, most of the time they
Yeah.
last with me, so.
Yeah, we got 2 grandkids now. Anyway, people say, how old are you? I'm 81. Still ride my motorcycles and play with my old cars.
So earlier at breakfast, so I had the privilege of sitting with Thaine for breakfast. And him and his wife shared part of Thaine's fantastic collection. Cars that, I pride myself in my car. I just bought a new sports car that I absolutely love. And not only did Thaine up me, but it was like here and all the way up. So, please.
I like weird stuff.
Oh, the 3-wheel Morgan.
Yeah. Morgan Motor Car's been in business since 1906, I think, right? They started out making 3-wheel cars. I wanted one after I saw Peter Sellers drive one into a swimming pool back in the 60s. They started making them again in 2011, so I bought one quickly. Then it had a great big, well, it had a 2-liter motorcycle, 2-cylinder motorcycle engine on it. I had that for several years. It's more fun than you ought to be allowed on a wheeled vehicle. And they came out with a new one, so I quickly sold that one and bought the new one. New one's better.
Cars.
Yeah.
Like crazy cars.
Yeah.
Like trucks. Like anything you could think of. So just.
Okay. So anyway, back to that. Studied chemistry at college and discovered that I didn't want to do that. It's kind of boring. So got a chance to work on a little movie called How the West Was Won, and worked on that for a few weeks and decided I would grow up afterwards. And that was 50 years ago or more, and I haven't grown up yet. They paid me a lot of money to be a little kid.
Who out there would love to have a job just blowing stuff up. That's a dream job right there. And then imagine all the people that you met along the way, and just amazing. Yes, sir, you had a question?
I was wondering, what was your most difficult scene to shoot? I mean, a lot of the stuff that you've done, I love Dragon Slayer. Poster scene with the houses are amazing. Naturally, going up into Death Star. As a little kid watching it on the screen, it's like, yes, you know, it's amazing. But which one was the one that basically you went, it's impossible, but then again, nothing is impossible. It just takes a little longer to do.
Let me intervene just one time, not to jump ahead. Has everyone seen Poltergeist, the first Poltergeist movie? Do you remember the house at the end of the movie, and it basically gets blown up, and then it gets sucked into the ground?
Okay, that one was tough. There was tougher ones, but that one was tough. I think on Poltergeist, that big sucking vent thing was tough. But I'll tell you how we did the house. We built a big black funnel, square, right? About 6 weeks of construction of the one model. Okay? The one model. It was made out of Durham's water putty, which is a very brittle plastering material, and balsa wood. We tied a bunch of steel cables to all of the balsa wood, run it through a thing called an air mover, where you put 80 CFM, cubic feet per minute, air into it, and 800 comes out the other end. Creates a hellacious vacuum, okay? That's to suck the whole thing in. And walking around, we sort of panicked. What happens if it plugs that hole and we have a piece of, and the hole was 12 inches in diameter, we're going to have a real problem here. Okay, 2 shotguns. When it starts to plug up, shoot it. Right? I was working with Richard Edlund, the famous cinematographer. 3 or 4 Academy Awards. Anyway, he's a gun collector, and I've got a couple of old, cheap guns, shotguns, so I figure we'll use those. So I carefully load special ammunition for this that don't have shot cups in it, so that and really fine birdshot, so that you won't be able to see it flying through this thing. We're going to film this thing at 360 frames a second, okay? That's 12 times speed, okay? And it's gonna happen, okay? So he shows up with a couple of about $5,000 collector shotguns and says, we're gonna use these. Do you want shot rattling down the barrel of those things? You know, these are my own hand loads. They may damage your guns. He said, they're just guns. Okay, here. So we fired up the camera. The way we were going to pull that thing down is we've gone through a clue. It's where you tie a whole bunch of cables together, and then out to the forklift. On cue, jump off the clutch on the forklift, right? And it worked the first time, thankfully.
Any other questions, please?
Had you seen the first Star Wars film prior to working at Asylum, and if so, what did you think of it?
Yes, I did, and I was very, very impressed with that thing. At the time, I was on the road with Ice Follies and saw it, I think, in Detroit. But anyway, it was wonderful. And having that square motion control was really, it probably wasn't invented, but it was certainly polished to where it would work. um, we used the same computer setup for motion control that they used on the original movie for the second one, okay?
For Empire.
Empire. We called it the refrigerator. And the microchip in that motion control system was an 8080. Do any of you people know anything about computers? The 8080 was about the first personal computer chip that you could get your hands on.
So, well,
Our mass control was cassette tapes. You put a cassette tape in it to get it fired up in the morning, and then you put another cassette tape in it, and you programmed it with a knob to move the camera down, back and forth, and to move the model. And it worked. And it worked clear through that show. ILM built several other machines that did the same thing. I mean, we were running 4 stages with motion control equipment in it at that time.
yes, sir.
How many explosions did you have to create for Empire Strikes Back?
I think there was only about 10 or 15 on that one that I worked on. On Jedi, close to 60. I've never counted them.
So every day you're going into work and blowing something up.
Okay, what happens when working for Uncle George? You go in, at the beginning of the movie, and you get a stack of
Call sheets or the,
drawings.
oh, right.
Yeah. It has got a number on it that they can trace back to you. You go in and you check with the production manager what is needed next for the optical printers. And then you go figure out how to do that. And my line is, if it's impossible, dangerous, or just plain stupid, they come looking for the effects guy. And it's usually all 3. So you work out how to get the shot, you decide how fast you're gonna have to shoot it to get away with it. At that time I had a Photosonics for Action Master that would shoot at 400 frames a second. That's close enough to 360, which is the fastest we could go back then. Now I got a camera that'll shoot 5,000 frames a second.
Golly.
Things got a lot easier. Anyway, then you'd shoot it in black and white and make sure it was gonna work. Then you'd call the guy in who was charging a lot of money for his camera. It was the only one that was out in the real world, and a lot of money for him to operate it because he wouldn't let anybody else even look at the thing. And you'd shoot it. So, and by the time we got to Return of the Jedi, we'd figured out how to book him so that we could make 3 shots of each action and go round and round. So we'd set a room up, we'd separate it into like 5 positions. And we'd set the camera in the middle, we pointed at that one, blow it up, turn it, blow that one up, turn it, blow that one up, turn that, blow that one up, turn it, blow that one up, turn it, blow that one up, keep going round and round and round, go around 3 times, help him put his gear together and send him back to Hollywood. Hopefully we'd got it in that time, and usually we did.
I don't know about y'all, but for me as a fan, of at least the first 3 films. It's fascinating to know how the inner workings, and that's what makes these kind of events fun, is that you actually get to meet the mind, the guy, the people that are behind these effects and these scenes. When Mark told me that I had the option of giving Thaine a call and see if he wanted to come out, that was amazing to me. So, I hope you all are enjoying this as much as I am. So,
Anyway, in order to blow up a model, you've got to blow it up slow. Now that sounds stupid, okay? How are you going to blow something up slow? So I had to come up with a box, a firing system, that would go down to 0.001 seconds between each shot. You load the model up with up to 16 different little tiny bombs and set them off very quickly. When you're sitting there watching it, it sounds like a single explosion. But when you play it back after filming it at 12 times speed, it works from one end to the other. You find out what caused it. You know, this is one of the questions you ask the production company, production people, what caused it to blow up? And then you walk it from the beginning to the end. And that's what makes it look somewhat realistic. Death Star had about 5 in it. That was pretty easy. The barge, that thing had 7 in it. A lot of the spaceships had 5 or 6 in them. That's,
oh, please.
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask, you worked with Colin Cantwell?
I don't think so.
He's been given he just recently passed away, unfortunately, but he was given the credit for actually building the Death Star.
Okay.
So doing the design work and building it out.
Okay.
We tried to get Colin out here, but unfortunately he was passed away before we were able to do so.
Most of us that worked on those first 3 films are getting pretty long in the tooth. And at the time when we were working on that, we were a bunch of kids, and it was just party time. You know, you had to push it, and you had to produce, but it was fun. I and my boss, who became my assistant, and I taught him how to play this game. We had a refrigerator, and we kept a bottle of scotch in it we called Plan C. It was a bad day. We would go to Plan C.
Any other questions?
Yes.
What was your favorite explosion or effect to work on?
There's a whole lot of them. The ones that worked.
The ones that do not require Plan C.
Yeah.
Or maybe the ones that do. Depending on the day, I guess.
You want the worst? I had one serious accident in my career. Movie called Cliffhanger. Okay?
Well, that was Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yep. By the way, Stallone's afraid of heights.
Oh, I heard that. I heard that.
The guy that you see on that ladder,
Yes, sir.
it was made by the model shop. It's a Ken doll with automation. Anyway, so there is a special chemical you can use that burns at very low temperature. The whole wall was made out of flame retardant foam. I didn't believe you could flame retard some kind of a petroleum product, so I tested it with a blowtorch and it went out. Still didn't trust it. Went with that low temperature stuff. It makes a fairly smooth, very ugly looking black and orange cloud, okay? So we got the shot. Helicopter falls down, goes off where it's supposed to, and there's tricks that you use for that. If you want to know how to do it, I can tell you. Anyway, it falls down. We're filming it at 360, and there's a camera on top looking down at it, a 360 camera. That's a 300 frame. There's a 360 looking this way, and a couple of 140 frame a second cameras looking at it. And the director happened to show up that particular day, and he said, I would like to see an explosion with those stringy things that come out of it. And I said, well, that's just a badly wrapped naphthalene bomb. I can do it. We've got one more helicopter. And being a smart aleck, which I am, I said, it'd probably be a quick way to strike the set, may set it on fire. I was right. We dropped that model, it went off where it was supposed to, it set the wall on fire. It was down and out in 15 minutes. It was a $750,000 claim. The only people got hurt was, I got first degree burns on my arms fighting the fire to keep it from setting off the propane tanks and stuff like that on the JLGs, the lifts around there. And the guy that was on the camera at the top, running down the side, it burned through that foam, and he got a second degree burn on his ear. That was enough for me, but anyway. The net result of that was he hadn't taken the film off of the camera that was on the top of the set. And when I got the camera dug out of the ashes, it was about that wide and about that thick and had movement of the camera, which was steel setting in the middle. So we lost the film, had to completely rebuild the set and do it again. That was a bad day.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask Dave a quick question?
Absolutely.
I was wondering if you talk about winning the Technical Achievement Award with David here for the DSC smart device.
Well, come on up here. It's just a little bit hard to hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was curious if we could kind of talk a little bit about winning the Technical Achievement Award with David for the DSC smart.
Okay. For those you don't know, David Pyre and myself own MP Associates. We're probably arguably the largest manufacturer of specialty pyrotechnics, in other words, specialty fireworks, in the United States. It's in Northern California. Anyway, that all started with a band called Boston. And the guy wanted to pick his guitar and then have sparks fly out of it. Okay?
You guys all know more than a feeling. Absolutely incredible lead singer, Brad Delp.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone knows Brad. Wonderful band. So.
And he's amazingly enough almost as geeky as I am, and I pride myself in being the head of the geeks. But anyway, so I came up with this device that we could stick under the pick guard and throw sparks. And then a few years later, continued to make them for my own use. A few years later, we went legal and made the manufacturing company. The DSC, what is that show? The Natural. That was the first big use of the DSC.
That was with Redford, Natural?
Yeah, when he hits the baseball.
When he hits the
into
baseball,
light.
right, with Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
That's right.
They are fairly low temperature sparks. Don't let anybody tell you there's such a thing as cold sparks, because there's not. But anyway, they're fairly low temperature. They're used, they ended up being used in Return of the Jedi. They were hand making them in England and had found out about them. I shipped probably 2,000 of them over there for that. But it is a plasticized explosive full of titanium metal. Okay? That's how it works. With an electric igniter in it. That answer your question?
That's very cool, thank you.
So next time y'all see Ace Frehley up on stage with Kiss, and his guitar is shooting flames out and sparks, just say,
To blow my own horn, we supply pyrotechnics to Universal and Disney theme parks worldwide. We also supply training aids to the military, and then we supply stuff to the military that I can't tell you about.
so y'all have had the privilege of speaking and talking to Mr. Thaine Morris. One thing that he didn't mention is his personal train.
Oh,
He has a train. He owns a train. It's actually not that big. But it's big enough to ride on that we talked about earlier. Uses for events with children and helping out. So if you like to, I thought it was a cute story.
if you get to Los Angeles, you go to Los Angeles Live Steamers on Sunday. I'm over there occasionally. I've got a replica of a locomotive. It's a gasoline hydraulic pretending to be a diesel electric, and from the 40s. I've got two in production at my machine shop if people would leave me alone long enough to work on them, but they're steam engines. But it's just another one of the multiple hobbies that my wife lets me get away with.
This makes me really look bad for retiring at 46, right? Going to work every day, 81 years old, making new projects, building new things. Makes me look lazy. Holy cow.
Just don't slow down, that's what kills you.
I slowed down today. I've been slowed down this whole weekend.
Yeah.
So, but just having a blast out here. We have, let's see, what do we got here? We have a Gentle Giant Sabine Wren piece here to give away. Let's come up with something fun. How could we give this thing away? Who would? Okay, let's get a volunteer hand up. First hand up for, yes, sir. You just volunteered for Thaine to light you on fire. And if we can do that and we can get it on camera, it probably won't hurt for that long.
He's a professional, I guess.
I am a retired physician, so it may take me, I don't know, hour or so to put you out, but we could do that.
I set Arnold Schwarzenegger on fire.
There you
Didn't
go.
hurt him.
Okay, what movie was that?
Oh, it was for the stunt awards back in the early 80s.
So I'd be in good company, me and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
I said I'd be in good company if you set me on fire. Then.
Yeah, I've set a lot of people on fire, but that was the only non-stunt guy that was silly enough to want to be set on fire.
Give us a trivia question. Don't. Well, then that's going to exclude you from the drawing. Okay, so without saying anything, after they give the question, raise your hand And we'll see who wins this thing. What do you think? Go ahead.
What film was Thaine nominated for an Academy Award?
Well, there's what, 600 of them? How many?
89.
I only have one nomination.
Okay,
I do have a technical award.
okay. So the nomination is the one we're looking for.
Would it be Last Crusade?
That's a no. Okay. So not only did you get lit on fire, but you lots of questions. Anyone else? Please. That's the winner. Come on up. Oh, wait a second, I have to ask. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There you go. You know what? You know what would be really cool? Do we have a Sharpie or something someplace? If we can grab maybe a silver Sharpie or something. I know that it's not relative to the Sabine Wren figure, but you would have a 1 of 1 signed by Mr. Thaine Morris. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, you lose again. I don't need a black one. I need a silver or something.
That's all I have.
Okay, well, let's do it on the,
Well, I think somebody ran away looking for a black one,
Did
a
you-
silver one.
if we have a silver one, let's sign it in silver. Here, let me give this back to you, sir. Woo! There you go. Step on up here. Give Mr. Morris your name, although I already know it. Let's have this.
yesterday.
I got to stand up for this, I'm the short guy.
Well, please.
This is 2.
In fact, let's do this. Let me step out of the frame here a little bit. You can come over on this side. We can get you on camera a little bit. Okay. Want to come on the other side of the thing?
You got it.
And this will give you something fun. Congratulations.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I just think it's fun, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Are y'all enjoying the event? Yeah? First time, right? No, not first time enjoying an event, but first time. And let's, who's got a camera? Let's get a camera here. Oh, we got a silver one. We found a silver one. So, go ahead.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yep.
Thanks.